That is the right way to run any discharge line. Always try to do this if you can. You see this pipe right here? Do you see any couplers? Do you see any fittings? And we're still going. Still going. No couplers, no fittings, one piece. And then finally a catch basin, a sediment trap. So there you go. You're looking at that 45-foot discharge in one piece of pipe. Nothing can pull apart, come apart, and the tree roots can't get in. That is the right way to run any discharge line. When you're building a yard drain system, take your brand new coils and start at the discharge and run that long discharge with that 100-foot coil or that 250-foot coil, whichever size you ended up buying, depending on how long you run. Don't have any couplers. Don't have a bunch of little pieces that you're putting together when you're trying to run a one-piece line. This is fail-safe. There's absolutely no way this pipe can come apart. This outperforms triple wall, thin wall, schedule 35, thick wall, schedule 40 PVC. This outperforms all of them because all those pipes I just named, they have to have a coupler every 10 feet. Right here, we have 100-foot rolls and we have 250-foot rolls, depending on our discharge, which rolls we take to the job.
We have been building these dry wells with leach fields for so many years, and we have a ridiculous number of them in the ground. They work. This is effective. If you're interested in DIYing this, we sell all these materials at French Drain Man.
All right, we put in a new sump pump discharge line for the house. This is our freeze protection. If somehow there's a freeze up, the water can then come out right here. Also, if this moves or settles, this is a slip bushing. A lot of people ask about that, and that's how you do them. So the men ran this all the way to a 24-inch dry well. That's 48 inches deep. And then they went ahead and they put a leach field on it. They did a beautiful job. This is textbook. Good. They drilled a bunch of holes in that dry well. That's really nice. So they used knife cut on the leach field manifold, and then they're putting 8-slot in between just so that it has more holding capacity. Put a little bit of stone in the dry well for the dry well bottom, and that's it. And put the rest of the stone around the dry well.
On the leach field manifold that's off of the dry well, we had knife cut so that the water would be carried to the far end of the leach field. On top of the knife cut is layers and layers of 8-slot to increase our capacity. Now it's time to install our knife cut with sock to a pop-up. This is an overflow. In the event that the dry well and leach field is completely full, we want to have an overflow line.
That is a really good leach field. There's never going to be a wet area from this pump discharge line. So we have the knife cut with a sock on it. We're going to put a pop-up right on the very end here. But in yards where it's clay, sometimes this could fill up like a bathtub. And then the water is going to rise and get in that knife cut pipe. And it's going to travel down because this has a little bit of slope. And this is our overflow line. That's why you need that. Always have an overflow line. Otherwise, this will just fill up. And then water could backfeed.
The attention to detail is second to none. This crew is amazing. The bottom of a leach field is level, and you do have to be really smart about where you put a leach field. It cannot go in the lowest point of the yard. That is the worst place to put a leach field.
We have a sump pump discharge line. This is a backup sump pump, so it's not the primary. And there's a downspout here, and it's been ran with dual wall. Before they put this new concrete walk in, they ran dual wall culvert pipe underneath it. We're going to tie into that. We're going to run one piece of pipe, no couplers, no fittings. It's just one long discharge line all the way to the street. There's no way that in the shifting and movement of the ground, and if we have some movement through the freeze and thaw cycle, and if there's any trees or plants or shrubs along the way, no way there could be root infiltration. There's no way there could be separation at a joint. This is extra heavy duty, super strong. And when you run it like this, it outperforms everything that you can possibly imagine. Triple wall, PVC, Schedule 40 and Schedule 35 outperforms them. Those have to be jointed every 10 feet. And if you have bends, now you have a short piece of PVC with a 45, short piece of PVC with another 45, and so on. So when you have all those glue joints, it's a problem.
This is a beautiful tie-in. You have your backup pump discharge line tied in with a downspout. You want it to slip up and down so it moves with the freeze and thaw. And if the ground shifts or settles, it doesn't come apart. It also has freeze protection, not freeze protection. If the line freezes, the water will dump out right here on the outside of the home. This is an extremely easy DIY project with all these components. Everything you see here, we sell in our online store.
All right, the guys are done. Besides being a little dusty, this is our leaf filter. There you go. So it had to be mounted sideways because the gutter's coming down sideways. It's not a problem. The guys did a really good job. They put enough of a riser on this to get this up and above the backup sump pump. Now, in case it's frozen at the discharge end, always have an overflow so at least the water can find its way out of the basement. Again, this is just a backup sump pump line. That is not the primary, or we would not have tied it in like this. Primaries always get a designated line. You don't share it with your downspout. It's just a bad habit to get into, guys. You don't want to share your primary sump pump for your basement or crawl space and leave a potential chance for tree seeds, tree buds, shingle gravel to build up in your sump pump discharge line.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions regarding this installation, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.